think Johnson's would be great.
It's a good call.
I think I only have one.
Okay.
Oops, hold on. Actually, I have none.
None.
None from since when this show started. So
Okay.
technically none. I have a bunch from yesterday.
I might also have none. Maybe if anything has been affected by our show format change, it might be the Johnsons actually.
Yeah.
Are we getting less Johnsons? Was that a big selling point for people buying stuff on our stores? Was the Johnsons?
I mean, why else
I
would
would
we do
assume
it?
I would assume it was the physical products that you receive.
They
Again,
don't care. It's the internet.
Very flattered if it's the Johnson shoutouts that is really driving those sales.
They really dig our Johnson.
You know, that is something that we could include in the regular show because it's typically not that.
That's true.
It doesn't take that
Pretty
long.
quick. Yeah, I don't have any from.
It was
today.
for the Johnsons. People say it was for the
I
Johnsons.
don't have any from today, starting at 5:30.
People only bought things for the Johnsons. Damn it! All right. Well, this is good feedback. Maybe you should, because donation comments we can do during the after party.
Yeah.
Because those can tend to take a while.
Sure.
Because people ask questions and then we
Right.
go off on tangents. Johnson's is like, proceed to. So speaking of Johnson's, big old Johnson to Brendan Griffin from Massachusetts. Thank you for picking up a thumbscrew navy blue T-shirt, and I really hope you enjoy that. That's a classic, and I think it'll do you proud. And another Johnson for Stephen I from South Carolina, who got the gaming mouse pad and desk mat set.
Oh, Stephen.
Thank you so much, Stephen, and enjoy your mouse pad set. Okay.
Should we do some donations?
Those are my Johnsons.
We don't have a whole lot.
Sure.
I
mean, since YouTube died.
Exactly.
I
kind of got cut off there. So Pup Shepherd, first of all, wags. Hi, hugs.
Hey,
I did it. I hit 1,000 subscribers. Love the show, guys. Have an amazing day. Congratulations, Pup.
Congrats, Pup.
We are happy for you.
That's a big number to hit too.
Yeah, 1,000. You're in the quad digits, boy. Shit's gone big league. So
we can start.
Cheers to your continued success.
Start pitching your channel for advertisers and stuff like that.
There you go. Yeah, nice. Well done, Pup. MB67. Hey, $13. $13.37. Kyle, you feeling any new aches and pains now that you've crossed into your third decade?
Oh,
Cheers.
Yeah.
Ooh, when you say it that way, yeah, feeling a little tight and sore in my lower back actually.
Have you had your prostate checked yet?
No, that's probably something I need to do.
I haven't either.
After I renew my driver's license.
It's more like, I think at 40 you're supposed to do that.
Okay, good. I still have 10 years.
But you can get it checked before that if you want.
I probably should.
And just recreationally, can be fun.
I don't like getting old. It sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does suck.
Alien, $5. Is the RTX 2070 a good pairing with my 8038-6? What?
Probably means 8086.
Yes. Does it come with an ISA variant? Also, granted, the internet is not a fad. Prodigy or Mindspring for a ISP. What?
Wait, 80386 is that
8086?
Well, 8086 is the 8700K at 5 gigahertz that Intel named after the 8086, which is an actual old Intel processor from the 80s. But then he says, does it come with an ISA variant, which
what's ISA?
ISA is the predecessor to PCI as far as expansion slots on a motherboard goes.
It was like 19...
It hasn't been around for quite a while.
1990s.
So, yes, the RTX 2070 would go great with an 8086, the 6-core current gen Intel processor. If you're talking about the 80386, then no. Which would mean he's trolling.
It's too old. Yeah, he's trolling.
Which is entirely possible.
Trolling hard.
80386 is a 386. Oh, like a 386. Oh yeah.
Like an i.
Like that was our first desktop computer was a 486DX, I think. So yeah.
I'm so young. I'm so young to
so
computers.
Old. Anyway.
What?
But yeah, Prodigy or Mindspring for an internet service provider.
Mindspring sounds fun.
I don't have experience with either of those, so yeah.
Definitely Mindspring.
All right, Andrew Stein, $19.99. Love you guys, a longtime viewer of you both. Thanks, Andrew. I'm trying to buy a CPU for 1440p gaming and 144 hertz software development, not Intel confined, and a ton of multitasking. Should I buy a 2700X, 8700K, or wait for 9900K?
What's your budget?
He's talking 1440p, which actually frees up a little bit. So the higher resolution, well, if you're talking a higher end graphics card, then the CPU becomes a little bit less important. But in either case here, I think talking about what you're wanting to do, especially if by a ton of multitasking you mean actually a ton of multitasking, not just like browser windows and stuff, I would say the 2700X would be your best bang for your buck.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. And 9900K if money is no object and you just want the best of the best, especially for gaming.
Yeah, that's reasonable too. Carmos 1970 $5 donation just got a PNY 1070 Ti for $365 from Dell versus the RTX 2070. Is this a good price to performance value? My system is a 2700X, 16 gigs, 3000 megahertz. Great show, guys.
From
thank you,
Dell.
Carmos.
That's
awesome. No, there've been some pretty nice deals on 1070s, 1070 Ti's, 1080s a little bit, but I feel like those are creeping back up. But I've seen 1070s for as little as like $350. So 1070 Ti for $365 is absolutely a great deal.
That's great. Yeah.
So great job scooping that up. Nice pairing with your CPU as well. So yeah, you got a great system configuration there, Carmos. Carmos.
Solid.
Carmos.
Josh Freeman, $9.99. Why VRM temperature go down under a heavy graphics load? 100C to 88C. ASRock X370M Pro 4 Ryzen 5 2600X. 16 gigs Flare X 3200 speed. H100 IV2 3.8 gigahertz to 4.5 gigahertz in hardware 64.
So let me try to do a basic and quick explanation of CPU load versus GPU load. So the reason why, if you're testing a CPU, you want to see a CPU's performance, you take your graphics card and then run at a lower frame rate, is because the graphics card is able to spit out a lot more frames per second. That puts more of a load on the CPU versus the graphics card. You're talking about the opposite situation, basically. You have a heavy graphics load. The graphics card is taking longer to spit out each frame. That gives the CPU less to do. So basically, your CPU is waiting on your GPU in the situation you're talking about. So your CPU isn't using as much power, so your VRM temperatures go down.
Graphics bottleneck.
Yes. And you talk about bottleneck, it's yes, it could be. I feel like there's I don't know, there's levels of bottleneck, like it's a gradual thing depending on the situation.
Yeah, there's a spectrum.
Yeah, where you become more CPU, where you're more CPU bound, more GPU bound. I like describing it that way better.
Yeah. There's a degree. There's a degree of how much.
YouTube is back. Nope, never mind. Broke again. Thank you, Sal, for the update.
That was the quickest 180 ever. The same sentence.
That was a quick turnaround. I've been trying to refresh this, but oh well, this wouldn't matter anyway because I've updated to the after party. All right, what's next, Kyle?
Steven00, $5. Here's some money to help you buy some hair loss shampoo.
Hair loss?
Why, thank you. I'm losing my hair.
Oh, okay.
I turned 30 and it's just like instant FU to my hair.
Are you gonna eventually be bald up there?
Perhaps. My dad has pretty bad hair loss, so.
Your grandpa's bald, isn't he?
My grandpa is. I mean, for how old he is, he's actually not terrible. I'd say like my grandpa on my dad's side is a lot worse than the grandpa on my mom's side. But I hear that you inherit your hair loss or your hair genes from your dad's side, if you're a guy. I've heard that somewhere. I don't know if it's true, but
I wonder
if that's true, then I'm in grave danger. And I already noticed that there's like a balding pattern for the front and sort of back of my head. So who knows? Maybe one day I'll look like Paul. We could have a bald fight.
I have hair.
You have hair, but you know.
Both of my grandpas have hair. Like I'll probably keep receding a little bit up in this area, but like
that's been pretty good though.
No, I'm probably not gonna lose it back there.
That's good. Yeah, I'll definitely have a bald spot at some point. So I might just go clean shaven. I might have shorter hair than you one day. That'll be weird.
That would be weird. But You just gotta embrace it though. As long as you don't try to like grow it out long and do a comb over.
Oh God.
It's lame.
I don't want to trumpet.
No.
All right, so let's move on to Jamie Smith, 5 Great British Pounds. Hey, Paul and Kyle from Bonnie, Scotland. Over here we call Newcastle Brown Ale Nuki Brune. Nuki Brune.
Nuki Brune.
That's so funny. So
I
funny.
wish I could do a good Scottish accent.
Nuki Brune. I don't know. I don't know
Brune.
if that's English or Scottish or Irish. Nuki Brune. I'm just trying to think of what is it? Snatch. Are they Scottish or Irish? No, they're English. But
English.
Is there anyone Irish in that?
There's pikey,
Pikey.
or as they describe it, which is I don't know. I don't even.
They have a very
I
specific
don't know
way
if
of
there's a
describing
more
it.
scientific name for that accent.
Whose Twitter account would you like to control for 24 hours? Ooh, that's a good question. If you could just mastermind, if you were a hacker, you could control anyone's Twitter account. One person.
Trump's.
I was going to say Trump. I mean, he's the president of the United States. He's the president of the most powerful country in the world. Why would you not want to fuck with that? I mean, that's pretty. I think most people, a lot of people
fuck with it to try to have a positive impact. So or
but that would just
to tweet
confuse
stuff
people.
that was thoughtful or yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, Trump would be good. Or Steve Jobs. I'd resurrect Steve Jobs and be like, "I'm back, bitches." And just have everyone freak out for 24 hours.
All right,
and then come out with a Windows tablet.
Start talking about how awesome the Surface is. That'd be interesting.
I'm thinking about trolling in a whole different way. That was a very thought-provoking question. Thank you very much for that, Mr.
Jamie Smith.
Jamie Smith. Mustangs by Matt. $20. Thank you very much. You can go ahead and read it.
Oh, the Pentagon is crazy. I may or may not work for the Department of Defense. Would have to change passwords every 90 days and can't use any of the last 10 passwords. 16 characters long with uppercase, lowercase, special characters, and numbers. That is
the way you should do it.
That's good to have to change passwords frequently. I believe that's an Active Directory setting though, depending on the servers you're actually using, because that was also the case when I worked at Newegg. Not with the character length and requirements for uppercase and lowercase and everything, but having to change your password every so often and not being able to use any of the previously used passwords. I remember because I had a password that was my commonly used one, and then I kept having to make different variants of it over time.
Yeah.
Then I
remember that too to some degree.
Yeah.
It's good practice.
Anyway, but thank you, Mustangs by Matt, and I hope you're smart and you work at the Department of Defense and you contribute towards...
Maybe you should apply for a job at the Pentagon. It seems like they need you.
You just said I may or may not work at the DOD.
Oh. That's the Pentagon, right?
Well, possibly.
So he's refuting the article that we talked about, saying that's false.
He said may or may not, Kyle. He cannot confirm or deny.
But if he meant he does,
whether his Mustangs
that clearly means he does, though. Let's not beat around the bush here, Paul. He clearly works for DOD. He's in the shit. He works for the Pentagon.
Look, we finally have a guy on the inside, and you're immediately just gonna out him to everyone in the community.
I'm not outing him.
Yes, you are.
I highly doubt. I highly doubt if he works for DOD and he's making this comment that his legitimate name that he goes by is Mustangs by Matt. And also, if you work for DOD, why are you only donating $20? Shouldn't you be super wealthy and shit? How about a hundo next time, bro?
I don't assume everyone who works for the government is making lots of money.
I'm just kidding, bud.
All right.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to blow your cover.
I feel like we're getting...
Mustangs.
Videos are up? My God, really? They actually work?
Impossible.
Amazing.
Impossible.
Alright, one came through for me, Paul. Oh, thank you. Oh, one donation. Thank you, Sal.
Because it was...
on my half, somehow. That's amazing. Someone was actually watching Clagadin71 with
He's
a
a
$10 donation, planning on a Ryzen 2700X build with a Gigabyte Ultra Gaming motherboard. For RAM, Gigabyte site lists Trident Z 3200 megahertz, 32 gig kit, but not the 16 gig at 3200. Is there a difference going to lower memory at the same speed?
Yes, you'll have less memory.
Yeah. In my experience, if you're talking about the same memory manufacturer, so G-Skill Trident Z, memory manufacturer and line of memory, so G-Skill Trident Z, and you're talking about the same memory speed, 3200 megahertz here, and I would also look at the timings on that, because a lot of the G-Skill Trident Z kits, 3200 megahertz, are 14, CL14, which I believe are the Samsung BDI ones, the good ones. If everything is the same there and it's just the capacity difference, then yes, you're probably good.
Yeah.
That's how I would look at that.
Yep.
Because again, the motherboard manufacturers are only able to test the memory kits that they have. So often there's so many different variants when it comes to different speeds and different capacities and everything like that. Ranks too. Yeah, make sure it's single rank or dual rank. Single rank. Better with single rank. Thank you, Neon Ken, for pointing that out too. Okay.
Cool.
That is all.
It.
So if you guys would like, I can turn the Twitch broadcast into an audio format for you guys. Oh, Cell apparently can totally do that. And we should have just asked him.
Turner,
at any point
just do an audio only awesome hardware?
Yeah.
Where would we host that? Like,
we can create a podcast
on
the podcast
making
website.
Site.
I assume there's a website where podcasts go, right?
Is podcast today like limited to audio only? Because I've seen many YouTube videos or YouTube talk shows claim themselves to be podcasts, and there's like their video. So is podcast? Are they using the term incorrectly, or are we using the term incorrectly? Does a podcast mean it has to be...
Oh, look, it's working.
Chat's been saying we're back.
Yay. Hi.
Back, bitches.
Hi, everyone watching the After Party stream.
Hey-yo.
Sorry we missed you guys, but...
Okay, so it could be either. Podcast could be audio or video. It doesn't mean exclusive one way or another.
Oh, okay. So I don't know the rules for these things.
Video podcast or audio podcast.
It's kind of like a
vodcast.
Vodcast.
Then shouldn't an audio-only podcast be called an oddcast? Audio-only.
It's true.
We'll make an oddcast.
Oddcast.
I'm just going to coin it. You heard it here first.
Or like if you were doing a bunch of manipulation of like a computer case, you could call it a modcast.
Ooh. I like that. Or maybe if you were doing like, a broadcast of like you at the gym, you could call it a bodcast.
And if you wanted to delve into religion and divinity, we could just make a godcast.
Or if you were doing if you were like making an amateur porno, technically a rodcast might suffice as the proper nomenclature. I'm sorry.
Well, my real passion has always been home improvement, and I've been thinking about fixing up my lawn out front, so could always do a sodcast. Sorry.
Tip of the hat. And
see, this is why people watch the after party.
Sure is.
Because
at this point, anything goes. Just anything goes, and you never know what's going to show up.
Yeah, you can do a fishing show with a podcast.
Give a nodcast of approval.
All right, we should really stop.
Shut this down.
What are we doing?
We've just been flagged by Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube is down again.
We broke the platform for the second time.
All right.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Kyle? You have a segment to do right now.
Yeah, Pimp My PC.
We totally have a Pimp My PC.
I totally do.
Let's do the Pimp My PC.
All right, guys.
Wait, I gotta open stuff.
Had some good entries today,
Pimp My PC.
and by that I mean really bad, which is great because we have things to talk about.
That is great.
All right. Let's see. Our first contender here is Joel. Joel with an AMD FX 8320, a GTX 1060 3GB card from Gigabyte, and 16 gigs of RAM, DDR3, inside of a... Didn't say what case he's rocking, but it looks like a more budget entry-level chassis. So, let's take a look here. Oh, is that a... Oh, that's a Corsair Spec Alpha, of course.
Ah, the spec.
So, man, there's a lot going on here. Looks like you've got a lot of wiring just out in the open. There is some cable management capabilities inside of the Spec Alpha. I've built in it before, but not a whole lot. But you don't have a ton of hardware here. You do have 3 hard drives, but say the cables are usually pretty easy to hide. I would try to clean up some of this. I feel like certain cables aren't going into the proper grommets that they should, or cutouts rather, because there are no grommets here. For example, your 24-pin ATX could maybe go inside of the cutout that's a little bit closer to it, and
we have a floating 2.5-inch drive here, this Kingston HyperX, and there's clearly a 2.5-inch mount here, like the Ultra is mounted.
And it's interesting.
So that could be moved up there, and that would clean that up. My pet peeve here: computers on the floor. Obviously, this is where it lives.
Sure.
Just don't put your computer on the floor.
Don't do it.
Make it stand.
Paul
get it
mad.
up. Get some cinder blocks.
You don't want to upset Paul.
Just get it up off the floor. It's sucking in dust, and you're putting it in a place of shame. And
this really puts Paul in a bad place. People, I just don't do it. Treat your Pauls fairly.
I don't
Be kind
like
to
it.
your Paul. See,
it angers me.
Now he's just mad.
All right.
So I think it's hard. It's hard to say get custom sleeved cables for a system like this, because you obviously have other areas to focus on first before aesthetics. So it's hard to really pimp this out. I think you need to pimp out your specs first. It looks like you only have... maybe you do have actually all 4 DIMM slots populated. But
looks like
the graphics card,
some generic green.
I don't know. I think your whole platform needs to be upgraded. I feel like there's not a whole lot of potential with the FX platform, and that
that's really becoming end of life. So
go with Ryzen. Get a Ryzen 5 CPU in there. You know, a Ryzen 5 6-core 12-thread. I mean, my God, it's gonna allow that GTX 1060 to shine a little bit more. You're gonna notice a zippier, faster system, more snappy overall, and I'm fine with the case. I think the Spec Alpha is fine for a system like this. And you know what?
I don't like it aesthetically, but it is a perfectly adequate case functionally.
Yes, functionally for sure. And I think the Spec Alpha, I think the inside is, it does have looks like it's got a side panel window on there, so the inside does count. And if you're going to upgrade your platform, then that gives you opportunity to swap out the motherboard for something that's a little bit more matchy-matchy. Maybe something that's red and black. Shouldn't be very hard to find something like that. Or even just an all-black motherboard with maybe some RGB lighting if you wanted to add some bling in there.
Yeah.
And then you'll be good to go. Fix up that cable management a bit. You're good.
A lot of work that could be done on the cable management.
For sure. There's a lot of potential here, though.
Thanks, Joel.
Stay strong, Joel. Thank you very much for submitting. Next, we have Ivan, Core i5 8600K. Very nice. On a Z370P D3 board from Gigabyte with 16 gigs of DDR4. A GTX 1060. Once again, we have a 3 gig card here. Super clock from EVGA. CryoRig R1 Ultimate. And the Carbide 270R. Once again, we have a Corsair case. And this is his first build ever. He just finished it a couple days ago.
Okay.
There's something oddly satisfying about the industrial look of this system.
So this, I feel like this is a great system for Pimp My PC, actually, because
it has a lot of potential.
There's so much potential here.
Yeah.
All right. So there's two things you need to do, and this thing would look amazingly clean. And all right, three things.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe add one.
So first, we got a clear heels front intake fan here. This Corsair fan, it's clear. It's got red LEDs. It does not match with the rest of the system at all. It's really not looking good.
Yep.
Get a replacement fan for this, maybe even a couple. Just make it all black. It's fine. A couple intake fans here would be great. And get rid of that one. Yeah.
And lift that
Second, and this is a small thing, but you want to replace your expansion slot cover here. That's just an aesthetic no-no. That's a minor. And then the third thing is just going to be your cable management. If you redid your cable management here and made everything nice and clean here, everything else is like a real nice. Everything's color coordinated. You just got to tighten it up. So take the cable coming over here for your graphics card, run it down underneath the graphics card. Maybe see you've got a daisy chain one here with an extra thing off there. Like if you route that down and underneath, you can probably take that extra plug coming off and just cinch it down with a zip tie or something under there, and get that cable looking nice and smooth.
Did you also notice that his card is in the second slot?
Oh, it is. It's in the lower slot,
which makes it look a little odd.
Spaces it out. Yeah.
I would rather have more clearance underneath my card than on top of it.
Yeah, so it probably would make better sense, and you might even get slightly better performance going with the GPU in this upper slot versus the lower one. He might have done that because of the CPU cooler clearance, but it looks like there's enough space there.
Cryorig prides themselves on like 100% compatibility. Yeah. That's one of the things.
So that. And then we have this awkward set of cables coming out here. It looks like this is a USB 3 that just needs to be cinched back more and have more of the excess pulled back behind the motherboard tray. And then this cable routed around here. You're going to need to actually take your fans. It might require unmounting your entire CPU cooler. Rotate those fans so that the cables aren't coming off right here. That make them so that they're coming off at the back corner down by the motherboard. That way you can route them immediately behind the motherboard tray, and you won't have this ugly cable coming out and around here. Honestly, your choice of parts though and everything is great.
Fantastic.
So yeah, a few of those little things there.
So much potential.
And you could have just a really, really clean looking system overall. So
definitely. That's a sick cooler. I love that cooler.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Well done, Ivan. Thank you very much for submitting. Next we have a Tackle
98
with a Cooler Master half. A half 932. These are fossils.
Yeah.
These are some of the best in their day.
Old school.
And an Asus Maximus 6 formula. Core i7 4770K, still a great gaming CPU. 16 gigs of G-Skill Ripjaws. And a Radeon R9 290X. All of inside, or what? Let's see. What is it? Oh yeah, sorry. With a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo. So, ketchup and mustard is the first thing I see. So
yeah. And that is a Thermaltake power supply, which
I think you should change the power supply entirely, because extensions wouldn't do you many favors in this case. I think the case is still great. Honestly, you could still make it work. Totally, it's still a great case. It still stands. It still holds for today. But extensions would be pointless because you don't have a power supply shroud, and that's a hideous looking.
And this is a very solid power supply. Maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, 800 watts, and Thermaltake did make some decent units here. I believe the TR2 is one of the good ones, but just doesn't have any of the modern features for convenience and aesthetics, like modularity and of course cables that aren't ketchup and mustard and hideous. And these are even egregious in that the super colorful part of it is it's like exposed so much more, I feel like, than most power supplies. So it just doesn't look great at all. Your top 8-pin and 4-pin here also not looking that great up there.
The sticker on the cable, the fan cable on your CPU cooler, that yellow one, that could probably be removed.
You can literally just grab and pull, and it will just come off.
Peel off, and then also tuck that cable away behind the cooler.
Or rotate your fans so it's coming out at a better spot. It looks like both of your fans kind of have that going on, with the cables just coming out here kind of haphazardly.
Yeah.
I would say, if you really want to do an overhaul on this system and you get a new power supply and you wanted to do something specifically for aesthetics, maybe look into figuring out some sleeving tricks. because like you've got a fan cable here that's like white, red, and black, and you've got your front panel connectors on this case, and you're not going to fix those without getting a new case or sleeving them. And sleeving honestly isn't that difficult. You can get some sleeving, and you can get some heat shrink to put on the ends, and it's really not that tough to do. Put that over those, and that really clean things up a lot. I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
A lot of potential here
any
too.
Other suggestions? Yeah, lots of potential.
No, that covers most of it. So.
But yeah.
Thanks, Attack.
Right, Sind 1 is next. Wait, no.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what? This is another half 932 build? Wow.
And this one's unpainted. Unpainted interior. Same internal layout though, and we have let's see, a deep cool Capitan 120EX on top of an FX 9590 at 4.7 gigahertz. With a GA990FX gaming ATX motherboard from Gigabyte, 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance DDR3, and looks like we've got a GeForce GTX 970 OC from Asus. That's a turbo card, so it's got a blower style fan with yet again a Thermaltake power supply. This one's a Tough Power Grand RGB 750 watts. So, man.
I'm kind of curious why there appears to be optical drives installed that just aren't plugged in at all.
Yeah.
Right? That's
true.
all I can figure out is going on right here. We also seem to have some SATA cables that are going to drives that aren't there anymore. So, maybe just over the years, stuff has been swapped in or out of this, or decided things aren't needed anymore, so they're not plugged in. And I've been there too, so, I feel you there. Power supply is like an RGB affair. I typically like to have the power supply intake on the bottom, sucking air in, but you might not have a dust filter down there, so I can understand if
or he just wants to show off his lights.
Yeah, oriented this way. I don't know. Is there any magic bullet that will make this suddenly pretty?
Cables.
Some cable management couldn't hurt.
So, is this a silver or a white interior case?
I believe it's just unpainted. It's just the unpainted flat metal.
Because I feel like that card, the graphics card, is white. And at least from this picture...
The picture makes it look like it matches.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case.
True.
It also looks like there's a fair amount of dust and debris in the bottom, so it's probably just a system that's been in use for some time.
Like, if this was someone that I took on for like Pimp My Rig or something, I would remove everything and spray paint the interior, because it's still a solid case.
Yeah.
I would spray paint the shit out of that interior and make it all black, or all white. But I think maybe all black might be a little easier, and then I would get new cables. I would swap out all the cables. I'd probably get a power supply that was fully modular, so I could do full length cables instead of just extensions, because you do not have a power supply shroud that could hide the origin of those cables. And then I would probably tidy up your drive cage situation. It just looks like it could be optimized a bit. All the drives at the very bottom of the case. Clean up the cable management a bit. And then swap out the fans. Make those fans really shine and make them sort of one of the focal points in your chassis. Maybe get some LED action in there, and I think you'd be smooth sailing. Because your platform's great. Your platform's great. The CPU cooler's great. Memory match is great, and even your graphics card I think has potential to look nice in this system. So,
did you mention also, other than doing all those things, you said that just a new case?
A new case would totally be fine too.
I mean, if you wanted to shortcut all that stuff.
Yes, it would be a lot easier.
A $60 NZXT H500 with all this hardware in it would look great.
Yeah.
So
probably worth the hassle of spray painting it.
That's a possibility too.
Definitely.
All right. A-Rod. Alexander Rodriguez with a Ryzen 1700X base system running at 3.9 gigahertz. Killer SLI X370 motherboard, Corsair Vengeance 3200, 16 gig memory kit, MSI Seahawk GTX 1080, an EVGA closed loop cooler, 280mm rad, Samsung Evo 850 boot drive with 512 gigs, and a Hitachi 1 terabyte Steam library storage drive, as well as a Seasonic 620 watt bronze power supply. All right.
His front fans are set to exhaust, interestingly.
That is true.
You have pure negative pressure in this case. You have no intake whatsoever.
That is true.
You might get a bunch of dust in here pretty soon. I would flip them to intake just to have a little bit more neutral pressure.
Wait, the top fans are...
Oh, the top fans are intake.
Are intake.
Oh, okay. So it looks like he's doing sort of a reversal thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have dust filters at the top of your case then. Otherwise you're just bringing...
I feel like that must be intentional.
Yeah? It's interesting,
If there's a dust filter in the top, and he cleans it regular, and that makes sense for where he has this, then that's fine.
Does this case
I don't
top dust filter?
I don't know.
What is this? This is the Fantix case.
Here's the whole desk setup. He's got a switch. Also, computer is up on the desk. Yay! All right.
Is this a P400? Okay, P400 does have dust filters at the top, so I guess that's fine.
Okay. Internally, cable management is looking pretty solid.
Interesting.
This is probably the most revealing picture with the flash going on, and I don't see a whole lot of excess cables floating around or anything like that, so that's cool. I don't mind your routing of tubing for your closed loop coolers, both on the GPU and the CPU. So that's not bad either. I would say, like, all right, if you wanna make this look just a little bit more slick, your SLI covers on your MSI graphics card are red. Mm-hmm. Your heat spreaders on your memory are red, and then you've got a WD NVMe. I believe that's a blue. So I think is it blue SATA. Anyway, it's an SSD right there.
Maybe
that sticker's standing out a little bit. If you were to black all that stuff out,
or white it out,
or even white it out, I guess. I feel like everything would blend a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, a nice black and white system here would be great. Or maybe like get some Dominator Platinums in there and do a silver thing. Because is that a whiteboard or a silver board?
It's white. It's the killer.
It's white.
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, some white memory modules. Remove the SLI caps. Remove the WD sticker, and maybe replace all your fans with white LED fans. I think it would look really nice. And then cable extension upgrade. You have all of the more expensive parts you have in order.
Yeah.
Except for memory. Wouldn't be that costly to really make this system shine.
But I'd say for now, especially looking at your cable management, you got a pretty good setup going on.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Alexander.
Thank you, Alexander. All right. Rue or the Reuben.
Rue, GeForce GTX 970, a Core i7 6800K, Corsair H100i V2, 16 gigs of DDR4, and Cooler Master T352 EVGA X99 Mini 2. He says, I think I need to buy a better case.
Which case is this again? It's a small case.
I don't know.
It's a micro ATX case.
I don't know what case this is. I kind of like it, though.
I mean, it's very compact. Cooler Master T352.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Is that what it is?
I think he has the front panel ripped off in this picture, too. That's why it's throwing me off. I can't really see what the shape of it is like. But a couple things that I notice here is that you have your rear fan set to intake and your front fans on the radiator set to exhaust, which is a little backwards to me. Unless you have an air filter on the back of your case, you might be getting some dust there, and I'm not sure if like you've tested this for, you've swapped those fans from intake to exhaust after testing the temperatures and stuff. But I feel like having those fans blowing at your graphics card as opposed to trying to suck hot air away from it might be more effective and might reduce your temps a couple degrees. I would at least try it out. You also only have your memory in one bank of DIMM slots on the left side of the CPU. Ideally, you'd want to go both. You'd want to populate that channel setup for maximum performance. If there is a dust filter at the bottom of your case, ideally, I would recommend that you flip the power supply. It collects a lot less dust that way. Makes it more reliable in the long run.
It's a Cooler Master N200, the case.
N200.
At least as far as I can tell. That looks the same, right? Internally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is. Yeah.
So then N200, he removed the hard drive cage as well as the 3.5-inch cage up there, and then he's just using all the space. Okay.
Cables. Get some nice cables. That's a fully modular unit, so take advantage.
I'd love to see just the best micro ATX case. Like I want like anyone who asks what micro ATX case I should get, I should be able to say this is the micro ATX case that you should get. And I don't think
Define Mini C.
That's the Mini C is a good one.
That's the one I'm using right now.
Yeah.
For my editing system at home. It's great. But yes, this looks like a pretty solid case. I think you need clean cable management, and if you wanted to pimp it out, then get some cables.
Okay.
It's a nice looking system.
Honorable mention is our last entry here from Jeff M. or El Jefe.
I really like this system.
With the i7 8700K at 4.9 gigahertz, Noctua NHD15 cooler, Asus ROG Strix Z370-F motherboard, EVGA GTX 1070 SC graphics card, 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance LPX 3200 speed memory, an EVGA Supernova G3 650 watt power supply, Crucial MX 500 250 gig SSD, 2 HDST 4 terabyte hard drives, and Noctua NF-A14 Chromax fans.
Yeah.
In-sourced cables, Fantex N through Pro M Gray is the case.
Yeah.
Hey.
I like almost every single thing about this system.
Well, hello there.
This makes me drool a little bit. My panties are wet. What I like about it, first of all, I'm a huge fan of the Chromax look. Noctua, like Chromax has done amazing things for Noctua. They've literally gone from like the worst looking CPU coolers to some of the best looking CPU coolers on the market because of Chromax and just the new fan options that they offer, the plating covers that they put on their heat sinks. And when it's done right, like in the system, it just looks phenomenal. I love the little design that they put on the Chromax covers, just the sort of like angular arrows. I think that slanted kind of diagonal look matches perfectly with the N-source cables. How there's like a patterned, there's like those the gray sort of gray and black cable sleeve there that's also slanted and diagonal. I think that matches perfectly. It just looks so good, and it just makes me super stiff. I think the color scheme here is great. Instead of just going black and red, you added that gray into the mix, and you match that with the color of your case. That third color really sort of ties those the really light and dark colors together, the red and black together. It ties it all together. It looks great. You specifically picked out a silver accented graphics card to match with that. Everything looks so good. I commend you. Aesthetic. Yeah, aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
Super thick. Hats off all around. It's a great looking system.
I have just the ever so slightest criticism, if I may. I'm detecting a slight amount of droopage on the graphics card.
Yeah.
You see that?
I can see that.
Seeing that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, El Jefe.
Those cards are known to droop.
I'm sorry, El Jefe, if this system was perfect, and now that I've mentioned that, I've destroyed it. That's the only thing that I would maybe try to, balance out, but only because everything else in the system is so clean and perfect.
Yeah, you got to nitpick on a system like this, which is a good thing. Ever so slight. And it's kind of good that you have your PCIe cable so straight, because you could easily prop it up, like put a crutch right behind it.
Yeah, maybe something just right behind that could stand that up.
Wouldn't be able to see
bit.
too much.
I had a solution for that I kind of used recently, which is that I have these little I think they're bamboo or something, but skewers. They're made for, they're wooden skewers.
Yeah.
Took one of those, just broke it off to the height that I needed, and literally just colored it with a black Sharpie.
That works.
And then just set it under the thing and propped it up.
Yeah.
And it's like sturdy enough that it provides the support and raises it up. And it's also just low profile enough that unless you look directly at it,
right,
like it blends in a lot with the background.
It's probably really thin too. Thin and sturdy, so
yeah,
very discreet. Nice. That's a good tip. So thank you. And congrats on your awesome system, Jeff. That's all I got for my PC.
Indeed.
Here in the after party.
I think that's pretty much all we got for the show for today. We're past the point of cutting offage of the timeage.
Mm-hmm.
And bonus, it appears that YouTube has recovered.
Hey.
So, big ups to YouTube for becoming a functional platform for streaming video again.
We do have a Twitch raid.
We got a Twitch raid.
Before we head out,
for live viewers,
we would love you to raid Miss Metal. That's MISS Metal, METAL _.
There's an underscore at the end. Miss
Metal
underscore.
Yep. Go ahead and raid the shit out of her, assuming it is her. I imagine it is.
Her.
She's currently streaming art.
Tiger oil painting.
Wow, she's doing some very nice artwork.
I like that.
Go blow her shit up. She has 19 viewers right now. Let's make that, I don't know, 1,000?
At least 5 more.
Oh, yeah. Let's at least 5. I think we can hit that stretch goal. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.